Book publisher Ladybird Books has been reviewing their book content through the use of sensitivity readers to examine stories for problematic content. They have used the reviewers to look at its back catalog. These are like big classics. You got Snow White, Cinderella, those big of fairy tales. And there are certain themes that could be potentially really troubling, like portraying old witches and other withered characters as evil. I mean, that's ageist. You can't do that. That might hurt some grandma's feelings. They also said that there is a lack of racial diversity among the book's protagonists. There's too many white princesses with blonde hair and blue eyes. We can't have that. They also said that the presumption of gender pronouns in the books is an issue, and that princesses use the term man when they meet a prince for the first time, and we all know that she hasn't actually asked the prince how he identifies. So you can't use the term man yet. He could be gender fluid. Oh, I said he. They could be gender fluid. You don't know. They could be two-spirit. You don't know. You don't know. So why don't you ask his pronoun first before you call him prince, is all I'm saying. And love at first sight is also an issue. Cinderella should not be falling in love without formally speaking to her counterpart, as that would be basing her feelings solely on physical attraction. As such, she is placing the privilege of beauty over character traits.
Here's what I say, and I'll be brief.
Will you? You don't need to be.
No, I will this time. Just to prove a point.
You don't need to be.
Tank the whole thing. Let them run themselves into the ground just like Disney. Tank the whole thing. Go ahead. Go woke. Go broke.
Yeah, but I worry that, you're talking about classic fairy tales that they are looking at rewriting, and as much as they want to claim that we're trying to ban books, oh, Ron DeSantis has banned book burning in Florida. He's banning books in Florida. I mean, no, he's not. But if you want to talk about banning books, let's talk about changing these books forever. They did it to Roald Dahl, right? With what Willy Wonka is really threatening. We have to change that. I mean, then you've got an entire generation of people who are going to be growing up and going through life, and they're going to have these books forever change, and they're not going to be able to read the actual words that the author wrote. Isn't that dangerous?
It is dangerous, but here's what happens. Let them burn the candle because it'll burn fast, and we will preserve those stories. Those stories are folklore, and they're preserved, and we have them, and this will let them destroy themselves, and then you bring it back. That's what happened in China. For a decade, no Chinese kid could go to school. They didn't just go stupid. Some people went underground and they preserved stories. They preserved books. I met a young man who was the most brilliant mind out of China at that time, 18-year-old boy, 165 IQ. He lives in Nashville, Tennessee. He's like, let me tell you, my father was a professor. When they started burning books unilaterally, he preserved it. So I'm just saying, let them harm themselves because they will quickly. They'll go broke. We know those stories. We have those books. We can bring them back. We can revive them, but let them go and self-destruct.
Well, I spoke at the Idaho State Legislature because I was doing an event there this past weekend, and the topic that I was speaking on was about the about sexual materials in public libraries. And I went to a public library in Boise, Idaho, and if you just typed in transgenderism or gender ideology for pre-adolescent books, this is talking about gay sex, talking about binding your chest. It's all over the library. And when I posted this video, it got, hundreds of thousands of views, and people on the left side are like, I thought you were conservative, I thought you were pro-free speech. Listen, I'm not saying that these books can't necessarily exist, but they shouldn't be targeted towards children. They shouldn't be in a public library. But these people want to change actual speech that's already been written and then formulate and create some sort of new outcome. That is the real censorship of freedom of speech. You can't even say a king is a boy and a queen is a girl. So think about that. They're trying to make kings and queens non-binary. So I'm not trying to prevent free speech whatsoever, but these are the people that are. And at this rate, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Superman's gay. Every Shrek is going to be gay. Every good story in the world is going to be gay in 2052.
Sorry, go ahead, sir.
I think, was Robin always gay?
Robin Williams? I don't know.
No, Batman and Robin.
Yeah, well, that's a little conspiracy there, too. I don't know.
I feel like he might have been gay.
Which is fine if he was gay. Listen, I'm not even saying that, gay people can't exist, but this is weird how they're trying to just instill it and just, infect it in every single piece
Alex,
of
there's
media.
a line when it starts depicting children.
Of course.
You've got to look at culture, and culture right now is not lining up with the law.
Yeah.
The law, a child is a victim still, by the way. In all 50
Yes.
states, 17 and under, of sexual coercion, and the child is a victim. I don't even have to prove that the child's a victim in court. So when you start depicting these stories for junior, then I go, you've crossed the line of freedom of speech.
Yeah,
and also there's a difference when you're talking about having taxpayer-funded books in a library available to students. That is not a free speech issue, right?
Yeah.
Like they keep conflating it with free speech.
Exactly.
That has nothing to do with free speech.
Exactly.
Is there pornography in the children's section at your public school library, at your public library? I would assume not, for the exact same reason. So it's such a disingenuous argument that it's
Correct.
about free speech. The free speech issue is your government not allowing you to speak freely or associate with all of that. It has nothing to do with not allowing children access to pornographic content.
Yeah, and that's it.
Thank you.
And I always say this, and to your point, listen, I don't think a pride flag should not exist. I don't think we should burn a pride
Right.
flag. But the only difference between a straight person and a gay person, as the media says, is their sexual preference. So why are we congratulating people's sexual preferences in elementary schools? Why are we even talking
Right.
about people's different sexual preferences to little children? So you're right, it's the attack on children.
Correct.
You know, everything else, attack an adult all day long, not that that's good, I'm not actually okay with that, but I'm just saying, don't attack the children. That is what I really stand up against.
But your sexual
word.
preference is not your identity.
Well,
Right.
but they'll
And
tell you
it's
that.
not your religion.
Yeah, but that's
Right?
not to these people.
18 over, different conversation. 17 and under, get your hands off the kids.
I agree.
If you like that clip, there is plenty more where that came from. Click the link in the description below to subscribe to the News and Why It Matters YouTube channel to watch the full episode.